Hey guys, how's it going? I'm gonna teach you today how to get a really good at-home workout with, maybe if you're like me, one of your favorite new toys, a heavy bag. So since COVID happened, I decided to build a home gym. Here's some of my other workout gear that I use. And since I do boxing and kickboxing and martial arts, something I really needed to take advantage of was a heavy bag as well. So today, if you're like me and you want to just get a good at-home workout, I'm gonna give you a couple tips. This video is probably best if you're a beginner or someone that hasn't used a heavy bag too often. And yeah, so let's do it. Okay, so first things first, before we even get into which techniques to use on a heavy bag or all the fun of hitting it, like I know a lot of you guys want to, first we got to talk about the equipment and getting set up. So first and foremost, I really like to make sure that I'm using the best set of gloves that are going to help me accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. You'll notice here that I have everything from light 4-ounce MMA gloves to some of the heavier 14 and 16-ounce gloves, and they all serve different purposes. So one of the main purposes when you're sparring is to think about the protection of your hands and of course the protection of your opponent. And the same is kind of true when you're thinking of how to use the heavy bag. You really want to think about protection and safety. So although I might normally fight, let's say with 14 or even lighter gloves, like maybe competition sparring gloves, when it comes to using the heavy bag, I really want to protect my wrist. So I'm actually going to go ahead and today work out with some of these Everlast, we'll do 16-ounce gloves. And the cool thing is you can always check if you just ordered some gloves online or you have multiple pairs, you can check to see exactly what ounces they are. They're usually going to say on the inside there, and make sure that you have some that at home. Again, I would suggest maybe like 16 ounces or heavier, at least 14 ounces if you're using the heavy bag. And the reason for that, again, is you want to really protect your wrist and your hands because you are going to be hitting the bag a lot there. So let's go ahead and select this pair. Okay, so now we've gone ahead and we've selected the gloves we want to use. We're using the 16 ounces because we want to really protect our wrists. And the next thing we want to do before we even put those on actually is further protect our wrist by using some hand wraps. So again, I'm all about safety. I'm all about protecting my my hands because I want to be able to use them even outside of boxing. And so the next thing we're going to do is actually wrap up. So I'm going to go ahead and put on these wraps. I suggest personally using some of the longer ones, especially if you have bigger hands. Some of the shorter ones you just aren't able to really fully wrap your wrist the way you might want to. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I wrap. There's a lot of different ways to wrap. I use the 5 over my wrist technique, 5 over hand, back under and around the fingers. Really just, again, we're all focused on protection, right? Like we really want to make sure whatever we do that our wrists and our hands are safe. All right, so now my hands are fully wrapped, right? Feeling pretty good. I know the protection's gonna be there. Now all I gotta do is put on my gloves. Right, make sure they're on there secure. Again, all about protection of the wrists and hands. Second pair as well. And now head over to the bag. So you'll notice that on my bag, I don't have all the space in the world because again, I had to build a home gym and I only have so much space to work with. But one mistake I see a lot of beginners making is that they really just want to do a lot of punching, hand punching in one spot, get tired, step back, catch their breath, and then do the same thing, right? So although that is good if your goal maybe is cardio and you're really just trying to get a workout in or maybe lose some weight, that's really not going to set you up for success when you're actually out there and sparring or fighting someone. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have some sort of working space still. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna switch to southpaw real quick to get started, and I'm gonna maybe work my jab a little bit, get comfortable, right? Feel the space that I have, but you'll notice that I'm not staying in the same spot. I'm moving. So trying to get, maybe work that cross a little bit too. Switch to orthodox. I really want to move around. What this does, first of all, it's a better workout. So if your goal is just to lose weight, get some cardio, really good idea. But more importantly, when you're in a regular fight, when you're sparring with someone, 99% of the time, you're gonna be moving. It's very rarely that you're gonna just be teeing off on someone or getting teed off on and staying in the same spot. So again, just keep that in mind. Whatever combos you're working, just try to move around a little bit, right? Maybe even step back a couple, pretend to parry, step back in, work on closing distance, right? Just don't get caught up in the same spot. Another thing you really probably want to keep in mind is you don't have to tee off on every shot. So I'm not throwing haymaker, 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 right? I've seen that in the gym sometimes. Again, if you want to get a cardio in, definitely a good way to get tired, probably burn out really quick. But you usually want to just go about 40 to 60% on the heavy bag. And the reason why you want to do that is because you're really working on stamina and technique. So if you're in a fight with someone, you're definitely not going to just be doing that. It's poor technique. You're probably not going to do good unless you're just a way better fighter, way stronger. You're usually going to have to work to establish the jab, right? Maybe work your cross. And notice I'm not teeing off, I'm not punching super hard. Every once in a while, maybe at the end of my combo, I'll throw a couple power shots. But for the most part, working on movement, working on connecting, and technique, right? So just don't overdo it. Don't feel like every shot has to be a power shot. Don't be afraid to change levels, to move around. Really just focus on, technique. And there you have it. Okay guys, another thing you really want to keep in mind and pay attention to is how much time you're actually spending on the heavy bag. So I know a lot of us, we just go out there, we're like, yeah, I'm gonna hit the heavy bag, I'm gonna have a great time. But if you're not really conditioned to doing this, if you don't already have maybe like an internal timer, you're used to doing multiple rounds, you're probably gonna want some sort of assistance. So everybody has on their phone a timer. Keep in mind a boxing round's about 3 minutes, but as you're getting started, I'd probably suggest maybe doing something like, 2 minutes, start off with a few of those rounds and work your way up. Or there's a lot of really cool apps you can use now too. So one of the ones that I like to use is the Boxing Time app. But again, a lot of you guys can just use whatever apps on your phone. 3 minutes, I normally do about 3 minutes or 3 minutes 30. I'll do like 5 or 6 rounds, something like that, and set an alarm so that I know when to stop, because you do need to catch your breath. You do need to, get a drink of water, Gatorade, something like that, right? So again, just keep in mind, there's lots of ways to time yourself so that you're not just out there.